President Zelensky has accused NATO of weakness and uncertainty over the reluctance of some members to set a timetable for Ukraine to join the military alliance. NATO leaders meeting in Lithuania have agreed that Ukraine can join, but only when certain conditions are met. NATO's Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said the alliance had never sent a stronger political and practical message about Ukraine's path to membership, but made clear it could not join while it was at war with Russia.
Tonight, turmoil in Israel. Thousands of protesters taking to the streets, calling it the Day of Disruption. And they're determined to do just that, blocking roads and highways, the police turning water cannons on the crowds, demonstrators clashing with authorities, more than 60 arrests reported. In Haifa, this news photographer thrown to the ground by police. And for those arriving at Tel Aviv's airport today, this was the welcome party. An estimated 10,000 people creating a sea of white and blue Israeli flags. The protesters furious over their government's plans to revamp the nation's judiciary that would effectively sideline Israel's judges.
Indonesia's Coast Guard has seized an Iranian-flagged supertanker which has been suspected of illegal transshipment of crude oil. The tanker was carrying oil worth over $304 million and was transferring the oil to another tanker without permit. Indonesia's Maritime Security Agency claims that they have the footage which shows the two supertankers conducting a ship-to-ship oil transfer on July 7th near Indonesia's North Natuna Sea. As for the agency, they decided to focus on catching the supertanker with the help of Malaysian authorities as both tankers were trying to escape.
North Korea has fired a suspected long-range ballistic missile off its eastern coast early this morning, according to officials in neighboring South Korea and Japan. North Korea fired an unidentified ballistic missile, Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff said this morning without going into further detail. Japan's Coast Guard and Defense Ministry also detected the weapon, with the Coast Guard saying it flew for about 550 kilometers and landed just outside Japan's exclusive economic zone.
We do understand that almost 20 trucks have been torched over the last couple of days, just over Sunday and Monday. We do understand that there were 16 trucks that have been torched, and now the recent in Mpumalanga. It seems as though the attack started in KwaZulu-Natal. We're not exactly sure what is causing this and who is behind this, but there's a lot of panic. And the reason for this is because just recently, just this past weekend, it marked 2 years since the July unrest that we saw, and it also in similar ways started with the torching of trucks.
Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi was welcomed by his counterpart William Ruto in Nairobi on Wednesday for the start of a 3-day Africa tour. The visit is the first by an Iranian leader in 11 years and comes as Tehran attempts to ease its diplomatic isolation with new allies on the international stage. A spokesperson for the Foreign Affairs Minister, Nasser Kanani, described the tour as a new beginning to boost economic and trade ties between Iran and African countries. Raisi will continue his trip in Uganda and Zimbabwe.